First match we'll take a look at is against Dragon. So actually pretty good mulligan here because we could just play Phil Dao and then Sharon will bring back Phil Dao. They play Pyreworm Blade, so we're going to instantly assume it's aggro. So since it's aggro, the bat is basically our target. That's why we want to draw 4. Very interesting choice. But since it's aggro, again, I'm gonna say since it's aggro a lot, but that's why we went for the full trade. And we're gonna keep reviving the bat so we can heal and just out pressure them. Neptune. I'm confident it's no longer aggro. It is no longer aggro. We can kind of say that. Up until Neptune, I think we could still say it's aggro, but now that they showed Neptune, we should prepare for a longer game. Because I think all the other cards up until Neptune could be considered in aggro decks. Burr Knight, we're down to 9, but they are also at the end of their card draw, and here we can do a Phil Dao trade. In hindsight, it actually would have been better to super evolve the bat, because the bat can still trade. It can, right? Wait, what do they have? Yeah. So if we super evolve the Olivia to do the bat would have heal us another 4, and then trade here, and then trade here. So that actually would have been the better play. I don't know what I was smoking evolving the Phil Dao. Maybe I completely forgot about the bat, but yeah, that would have been the better trade. Not like it really matters, I guess. since now we have a board like this. Yep, GG. So here, against Rune, we don't want Winged Servants, but we drew it anyways. Our hand overall is really bad. Turn 2, we can gas the Soray, and then 3 we can zombie, but overall not a fan of this hand. Aragavi can be used to snipe later, so that's okay. We drew another Winged Serpent. We forgot to play the Skeleton the turn before, but we drew 2 Winged Servant, essentially 2 dead cards this game. Played well at the trade. With the 2 Winged Servants in hand, we're essentially playing the game with a card hand of 7, unfortunately, but it is what it is. Rune, we're going to play a little more aggressively because our hand doesn't really let us do much else. I would love to Soul Predation or anything at some point. Really can't get a chance to play anything. And Phil Dao leaves us with Cerberus and Gensetsu, which is good going into how late the game's gonna be soon. And then they spawn that, but Mukan's here. Mukan let us trade really well there and let us finally use all of our cards. They have so many Normans, so many Sage Lights in their hand. They get to trade this really well, but Aragavi clears this board easily, so that's good. And then we can just play the Vuela to try and empty our hand a little bit. One's pretty annoying, so but we get the Yuzuki it out. Okay, it's okay. Climb, let's see what they're fishing for. They still have 1 super evolve. They get to heal again and Norman, which is insane, mind you. Super evolved the Norman as well. They get another draw. Drew 4. At this point, we just play the what's it called? Bats, because there's nothing really else that we can do. We're just hoping that something survives, so the next service we play can deal a lot of damage. But of course they had the William. They drew the William. Aragavi clears the board. Again, we still have one evolve left, so it's not bad. One evolve to their 0 sets us in a pretty okay position. Drawing the chair in there for the filled out was actually really good. Lets us push a much wider board than we would have otherwise. The Lantham there is pretty crazy because now we just get the Cerberus. Unfortunately, we were one off though. We're one off. But with a board like this, how are they? Oh. But that's what our ghost is for. Next is against Portal. Portal, we'll just keep the chair and filled out. Ghastly Soiree is also just a good card to have. Winged Servant, probably going to be a dead card in our hand. Very unlikely we play Winged Servant unless we desperately need the healing. We can just curve into Rotting Zombie here. Well, let's just trade, keeping the Rotting Zombie, since the Rotting Zombie is going to... It's actually a lot of pressure on the board with the Rotting Zombie there. Apparently not enough pressure for them to kill it though. With that mirror, for some reason I couldn't say. Make them use their evolves. Get a pretty wide board here going. Continues making this a very aggressive board. Very wide. Make it harder for them to clear. Since they had to use a spell to clear there. Really draining their evolves here as well. Unfortunately, that does clear the board. actually an insane top deck there for the Mukan. And we had to trade that way since the Mukan, or since the ghosts don't kill the what's it called? The one with the orange shield. That one. Here we'll push a little more aggressively. We have to kill the Harula, because we don't want that to super evolve and hit us for like 17 or whatever. Bullet from Beyond. Beta. Super evolve it. Wow, okay. Olivia plus Sharon clears. Or should clear. Should pull the Phil Dow. Yeah. They're out of super evolves, we're out of super evolves, but we have a very wide board. They're going to swing the Omega, but we have the Mino to clear. So all good. And then since they used all of their artifacts, we threw out the bats. Ooh. But idea is Cerberus. Wait. Is that lethal? No, can't be. No, it shouldn't have been lethal. Because here, if we just rip the Cerberus, yeah, 369 plus 2. Yeah, it's just it was off. It was a little off. Another one. They're actually drawing a lot of good cards here. And they confuse more here. Pretty insane. Use the heal, but not enough because we get to rip the Cerberus now. One more game against Haven. Here we'll keep the Aragavi, keep the Ghastly Soray. Drew, Ghastly Soray, and Yuzuki, but the only good thing is, I guess, Yuzuki is only useful later in the game since their boards get so big. Very good at controlling that. Otherwise, the hand is pretty mid. That I might have considered just clearing it with Reaper there instead, but eh. Playing very safe. Honestly, there's not a lot of point in pushing a lot of damage because Dark Haven Grace will just keep healing anyways. So like, what's the point? Honestly. But I saw the opportunity to push 7 damage there, so went for it. Another Unholy Vessel, Serene Sanctuary. Their card pool is not the biggest, so push a little bit aggressively. No Wilbur, no Aether. Keep pressuring the board. We're almost out of evolves. They have pretty much not used any of theirs, and they've healed up all of their health. So, which is why I don't really like pushing very aggressively against Haven, unless you can really stick the swing, because now they pretty much healed all the way back. We have two Yuzukis, so we'll just use the Yuzuki mode to clear their board. Wilbert comes down. They've healed back to 16, mind you. So just absolutely insane. Unholy Vessel. That's their last one. Still 9, like, after all that too. At this point, we're just trying to draw like a madman. Aether, kind of what we were saving Kinsetsu for, but we guess we don't really need it here since we can clear. To be honest, I'm not sure why they're not just evolving. Feels like they're saving their evolves for next game. Especially they think that I can't clear that. Just trying to stick a widest board possible, so when we Cerberus, we can clear it. That's all above range, so not enough to kill. But we have the Medusa, just Dusa them. And then that clears up the board and we can hit. Not sure why they saved their evolves for though. So Abysscraft has so many options this set with new additional cards, building onto what they had already last set. Last set, their whole shell felt very incomplete, but with this set, now they're able to play really aggressive games, mid-rangey games, and even control games. So Abyss is eating really well, and this is a control list that I found from a Japanese YouTuber. I'll post their channel in the description, but the idea is just a very control game. Run their resources low. End game, you have Gensetsu to clear boards, you have your Medusa to clear, you have Mukan to clear. Mukan, as you can see, doesn't have the Shadow Crypts to combo with, but you also still have Ghastly Soiree to give you the ghosts to combo with Mukan or combo with Cerberus to finish the games off. In the early game, you have Phil Dao evolve to do any trades. On top of that, Phil Dao also gets revived or reanimated by Charon, so you can basically just throw out Phil Dao however you want in the early game as a 2 mana 2/2, which is very good, very well statted. So Charon will just bring them back, and the reason for that is that usually on the Charon turn you want to kill off their board, because it is quite threatening, especially if you're going first. Then they have an already evolved unit, right? So one of the best options is to just evolve the reanimated Phil Dao instead of evolving the Charon, because the evolve is just so good, right? And you bring it back, so it's just free. It sets up a better board too, especially if you don't have to run into Phil Dao. But going into stuff like, what's her name, like Anangrea, for example, really good board to go into that, because they don't get a favorable trade. A lot of times you run the Charon, evolve Charon in, and it's down to 3 health. They can easily just evolve Anangrea to trade into to do the 3 damage effect onto the Charon. So what other cards do we have here? One card you probably notice that's odd in here is the Winged Serpents. I was also not a bats believer, because one of my biggest hates is that it dilutes Cerberus. Really makes it so Cerberus just pulls junk out. But if you get turns like Olivia into Winged Servant, the bats, they heal so much. Even bats super evolved with Wella heals a lot. So there's just options you have to stay alive. Like bats is just your healing card. Heals more than Ceres, heals more than Olivia, heals more than even Cerberus turns sometimes. Bats, really good card for just healing. Otherwise, it does feel quite bad when you pull it from the Cerberus, but it can also reanimate with Charon. So if you're in an aggressive matchup and you play your wing bats early to try and contest the board, you can bring it back with Charon and then evolve the bats for more healing as well. So quite a versatile card, and it's actually just a really good card outside of when you super evolve Cerberus. So with that being said,